Hello, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome to the Arrowhead Kingdom Chiefs Cast live from the MKE, where we're going to be talking Chiefs and all things NFL. I'm Josh, and today we are going to be talking about Week 12. That was, and previewing Week 13. Big reminder that all Chiefs fans are invited to join us for game day. Visit arrowheadkingdom.org to learn more about the group and to find your local chapter. And also, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be talking Chiefs, and of course, we are presented by Complete Weddings and Events, your leading provider of photo, video, DJ, photo booth, lighting, and coordination services. Visit them at completewedo.com. And today it's going to be Brian and I, and we're going to be short of Chris.
Hey, Josh, how you doing? Feeling good?
I'm feeling great. I love that Bronco player getting hit in the back of the head thing in front of the Simpsons. That's
the Denver Broncos.
That's resonating with me for two reasons. First of all, I feel like that's what I watched. And second of all, I was in Universal Studios in Orlando this week and went on a Simpsons ride, and that would have been good there.
Yeah, like whenever I replay that after we beat the Broncos, and Marge is like, I think owning the Broncos is pretty good. And Homer goes, Marge, you just don't understand football.
Yep, that's true. Yep. Have you ever been to Universal Studios in Orlando?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. I really didn't know what their ride situation was like. I mean, I've been to Disney.
It's better than Disney World. It's way better than Disney World. I mean, I guess Disney World is like, it's when you're a kid, more when you're younger, or maybe it's just your own personal style. But Tanya and I went to, last time I went to Orlando, we much preferred Universal over Disney World. But yeah, the ride situation is spectacular as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're just completely different. I like them both for certain reasons. When were you there last?
Well, I proposed to Tanya at Disney World, so we've been married 7 years, so about 6 years ago, something like that.
Got it. So what were the new rides when you were there?
Let's see, the Incredible Hulk was there at Universal. That
Okay.
magnet. Whenever we went on that was the first time Tanya had ever been on a roller coaster that uses magnets to propel you.
Yeah.
And she wasn't ready for it. And she said that was she just freaked out. I mean, we're already freaked out because we're on this huge roller coaster, and she thought it was going to be like this thing you just go down, but no, it shoots you out of the kind of rockets you off there, and it's really awesome. So yeah, that's the ride I remember most was the Incredible Hulk, and the other ones are pretty standard. Oh, we also did the Jurassic Park ride. The animatronic. Did you ever ride that one where it takes you through the thing, and it's like the water ride, and they have the T-Rex, animatronic T-Rex. And I got to tell you, even though we know, as far as I can tell, dinosaurs are extinct, you have this weird, it is freaky. You're in survival mode when you see it, because the artists who made it and the animatronics did a really good job of making you have that fear, that primal fear of seeing a freaking T-Rex right there.
So you're picturing Jeff Goldblum saying, you spent all this time trying to figure out if you could recreate dinosaurs. You didn't take a step back to think about whether you should.
yeah, exactly. And I think I also, oddly enough, I did not have my shirt on when I was on that ride, just like that scene with him looking all handsome in Jurassic Park as well. So I am banned from Universal Studios now.
Okay.
But I had my fun, and I'll go back later. So, but yeah, we did that, and then I forget. Did they have a Simpsons thing there? I don't recall that. Did they have a thing there for the Simpsons?
I think that's fairly new. But I definitely went on Simpsons, and I'll tell you right now, the park has changed since you've been there, and I think that's a little bit of a testament to what Universal does, because they clearly change their content more often than Disney. I mean, people will talk about some of the stuff that's in Disney now. I mean, obviously they've added Star Wars, they've added Finding Nemo is another one that's been pretty new. But I'm gonna first tell you that the two rides that I didn't go on that I wanted to were that Jurassic Park water ride, and it was because it just got too late in the day and I didn't feel like getting wet anymore, and the Hulk ride. And part of that was we had a guy in our group that couldn't fit on that coaster, so we ended up going past it. But they've added some stuff. So I
feel like I'm in that situation right now. If I go back, I probably couldn't fit on the roller coaster anymore. They say, "Sir, get out of here." I'm like, yeah, right, you're right. I gotta go.
But nice. My absolute favorite ride, there's a Jurassic Park Velocicoaster, and it's based on Jurassic World. So there's a cool. A video as you're walking in to the main thing before you get seated, and it's got Chris Pratt's character from Jurassic World. and the people in the boardroom or lab or whatever are sitting there talking about how you're going to go on a ride being chased by velociraptors. He's like, I think this is a horrible idea. I'm going to go on the record right now saying I don't think you should be doing this. So it's a great, but it's the magnetic where you shoot out, go out hot, and there are no shoulder harnesses. It's all just like a lap bar that holds you, and you're corkscrewing, you're upside down, you're cocking back and forth. Yeah, it was good. It's
It's
best
one of
roller
those,
coaster I've ever ridden.
like a subway rail. You hang on. That's
Yeah. But the thing that they've really gone all in on right now is they've done a huge Harry Potter thing that spreads across both of the two parks. Was it one park or two parks when you went last?
I went to both Universal and Disney World.
Well, no. Universal's two parks now. It's like
Oh,
Universal and Island Adventures.
oh, good Lord. Okay,
Yeah,
they were building that when I was there.
got
Okay,
it.
I remember seeing it looked really cool, but I do remember the Harry Potter thing, and that looked we did that roller coaster, and but yeah, they were building something else that looked really cool.
Yeah, so they basically had 5 Harry Potter rides, and one of them was it was called like Hagrid's Run or something, and so you're on a motorcycle. So it's two parts of a cart, and you can either sit in the sidecar, you can be on a motorcycle for a roller coaster,
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
which was neat. But and then you walk around, and it's like the entire Harry Potter world. You can like buy wands and do magic and stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to Vladimir growing up a little bit more, so I have an excuse to go to Disney World to see the Star Wars stuff. So
Yeah,
if he can if he can pick it up, so I can take him to Disney World. So you pay it, right? So he age enough where he remembers it, right? That's always
exactly.
that's what my parents always say. It's like, well, you can take a toddler there, but they're not gonna really have the memories. You got to wait a little bit. That's the strategy, I guess.
Exactly.
So he needs to hurry up and grow up so I can go there.
But yeah, in addition to being in Florida, I was there for a meeting for wedding service, and also made it out early for Sunday night football game. Was able to watch the game with the Orlando chapter of Arrowhead Kingdom. So mad props to Christina and crew for all the hospitality. There's a place called Friendly Confines. It's apparently also the Cleveland Browns bar, and also the Nebraska Cornhuskers bar. I found one of those things out while I was there, and another one with the Nebraska people I was in Orlando with telling me that they had been to that place for a Husker game. But apparently, talking to Christina, the chapter leader for Arrowhead Kingdom, when the Chiefs and Browns played each other in a playoff game, the fire marshal came by and was just like, "Do not let anybody else in that building." So they had that place pretty packed, which sounded like a pretty wild time. And
That sounds like fun.
oh my God, yeah. I mean, that's why you watch sports with people and everything. But let's talk about that game. So the Chiefs got another win. They're 8-4,
Gonna
and
get a Ric Flair. Woo.
woo, yeah.
Woo.
Can't say that it was the prettiest win in the world, but I never felt like a win was, anything but the only conclusion that game was going to come to. That's how I felt.
Yeah, no, we still, I think we've talked about this over the last few games, breaking down things. Not exactly been pretty wins, but keyword is wins, and that's what we need to focus on. I mean, the pretty, they want to focus on pretty as defense still doing a pretty job. Like when we say pretty, when things are ugly, our offense isn't doing the output. At least that's what I think you're saying, Josh. Tell me I'm wrong, but our offense isn't doing the output of what we're used to seeing, what we've become accustomed to over the previous few years. But our defense has just made it really. I mean, is this the same team as we've seen exactly. Weeks 1 through 5, 1 through 6, and 1 through 7? I mean, this is just now if we can just get both of those to click going into the next 6 weeks, could be fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about if the offense that put 5
Raiders
touchdown passes on the Raiders shows up for one of these games, and the defense does what they did. I mean, there were 2 times that I felt like Denver was in a position where they could possibly get themselves back into the game and make it interesting, and both of them ended with an interception.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those interceptions. I mean, when you have like those big plays that I think we've been lacking. We've been seeing like those big momentum shifts that we over the years we want to see, but those really turn the game around. Big defensive stops, and also like I don't know what the record is of tipped interceptions, but I think Mahomes is probably knocking on that, because how many times does he have passes get right in the hands of the receiver and they get tipped and then they turn over there?
I believe it's 7. I've seen that number float around online this week, and I believe there's 7 times that he's had a ball hit a receiver in the hands and it results in an interception. And I
So
also think that Chiefs receivers are leading the league in drops right now.
okay.
I could be looking both of those up right now, but I'm not going to. But we're just talking basic observations right now, and I think we've seen that the entire year. I mean, he's throwing balls that are hitting guys in the hands, and we're not picking up first downs. We're having things bounce around and turn into interceptions, and the whole thing is like a collective result that the Chiefs offense doesn't work and Patrick Mahomes is in a slump. And I think that both of those things are true, but not to the degree that they are looking like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can say, I mean, a slump, quote unquote slump. He's not been the Mahomes that we're used to seeing, but he's still we're still getting the ball in the end zone. Like even though we had one touchdown against the Broncos, it's just not what we've been used to. And thankfully, our defense has stepped up. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like every game or every other game, it's 7. So what is that? Just about once every other game, give or take. And just like a tipped pass right in the hands, and it goes into turns into a momentum shift of a interception. So, I mean, eventually, you got to take care of the ball. Obviously, we do that way, but I don't know how much better you can make it. It reminds me of the Super Bowl last year where we had like the most amazing incomplete passes that hit the receivers right in the face. It's like we put it right there, but but we're producing. And also tip of the hat to Butker, keeping he had a 56-yarder. He just kept on we weren't producing, the touchdown kind of momentum we needed, but he kept the points on the board growing and letting our defense do what they had to do to stop and demoralize the Broncos. So I really can't get over though. He has these amazing kicks, but he always has a PAT miss. Like, and it's been going on for years now.
Yeah. Let's look at his statistic line here. Kicking. Yeah, so 3 for 3 for field goals, 1 for 2 for PATs. And he did have that doink field goal, but it wasn't the 56-yarder. It's just
yeah. And tip of the hat to, I think, Misty, I think your wife Misty was my fantasy football opponent, and she had Butker. And it was back in that situation where I don't want him to do a good job, but I want the Chiefs to win. So I'm I'm glad that went through. I'm clenching my teeth. Like, I'm glad he made that. Good.
Yeah, exactly. No, he drained a 56-yarder to send the Chiefs up 10-0. He doinked in a 45-yarder to send them up 13-3. And then he missed the PAT after that Sorensen, Dirty Dan, Done Dirt Cheap, who is not the most hated guy in Kansas City anymore. 75-yard touchdown return interception.
I like how he said he doesn't read the news or social media. I'm like, that's a good thing you don't do that. I'm glad you stayed away from all of that, Dan.
It's also not true.
Is it not true? Okay.
I don't believe anybody who says that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe it.
If I'm having a bad year, if I was a professional athlete, then maybe I'm having a bad year. Maybe I don't want to read that right now. Just kind of focus on getting better. But if I'm having a great year, I probably would want to read all the good stuff.
I don't think there's a world where you can not read it at all.
All right. I don't know.
I don't.
You take away his Wi-Fi privileges, and it's like you can't.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. But there's a difference between reading something and going or just reading it and being like, okay, they don't think I'm any good at football. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, I guess I
believe.
They're professional athletes. They're saying that I got to turn it around or something. I know what I'm doing. Just gotta.
No, exactly. And when you get to a certain level of success, and I think this is in any kind of field, and I can't tell you that I've ever gotten anything like this, and I think this is. You want to talk about a 1%er situation. That's what we're talking about. But yeah, I think that if you get good at anything, there's just a certain point where there's going to be criticism and it's going to get loud if for no other reason that there's people that just want something to talk about.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of, you go on social media and you see it's just like, oh, these bandwagon fans and just taking all these weird takes saying that the sky is falling down and stuff. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder how many of these, people doing this are just trying to bait fan groups.
Mhm. Is there like a how old is Dan Sorensen? He looks a little bit older because he's got 3 cities.
We looked this up before. I want to say he's 33, but let me look here.
So yeah, he's getting up there. Like he's playing like
No, he's 31. I'm looking it up right now, but he's 31.
and
We've looked this up. He's
is there like
31.
a special category for like the Dan Sorensens and Hunter Renfros who look like dudes who are like, no, they look a little older, like, but somehow they're still playing professional football.
Yeah.
Like they don't look the part of like an elite athlete, but then you see them play, you're like, oh god, you guys producing lately.
Yeah, he's 31. Born March 5th, 1990 in Riverside, California. So way younger than both of us. There was a meme that somebody was showing me last night, and it shows a picture of DK Metcalf with his shirt off, and
Oh, I saw that. He's like all buff
flexing or whatever. And then it shows Hunter Renfro when he hasn't had a haircut for like 6 months.
He looks, yeah, he looks.
And it's like one of these guys has 1,000-yard receiving in the NFL this season.
Oh my god,
Hunter Renfro.
Oh yeah, it's Hunter Renfro. Yeah, well, yeah, no, that I guess it goes to. I mean, I guess you just put the ball in his hands and he'll catch it. I mean, that's what they call him, third and Renfro. So I guess he's the guy who you go to whenever you need a catch and you need a first down, I guess. So, and heck, he's been doing that since college. Didn't he play at like Clemson or Auburn or something? It was Auburn, maybe.
Yeah, let's see here. Hunter Renfro.
Saw him on that NFL HBO Hard Knocks. I think it was maybe Auburn.
Hunter Renfro Raiders. Yeah, Clemson. I thought you were correct. I just wanted to double check that before we.
But yeah. So the Broncos. So they are. So we're in still. It feels good to be winning the AFC West though. Still feels good.
We're 8-4. We're in the fourth seed right now because we've lost to the 3 teams that are in.
Oh
yeah. Well, sorry. The Patriots are 9-3. We haven't played them. We're not going to play them. But the other division leaders are the Titans and the Ravens, who are also 8-4, and we've lost to both of them. So we're definitely in a situation if we're wanting a 1 seed, we're gonna have to beat the Patriots on the record, because I'm fairly certain I dug into this, and I mean there's just so many different criteria. If we went out and the Patriots went out, both teams will end up being 13-4, and I believe the Patriots, based on AFC record, would be the 1 seed. So
okay, I'm going to play for you something I heard on ESPN.
Yeah, let's do it.
Stephen A. Smith. Let's see here. He's talking about.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to learn something today.
You could say that. To me, my mentality is this: it's about who else is in the AFC. And when I think fixing, I think, okay, are you going back to the Super Bowl? I don't think Kansas City's going back to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I think when you do that.
All right. He doesn't think Kansas City's going back to the Super Bowl. Did you hear that?
I did. And I feel like he is taking a line of if you get a chance to take a bet, are you betting on the Chiefs or the field? He's taking the field. There hasn't been a take by Stephen A. Smith anytime recently that leads me to believe that he's got anybody that he actually believes is better than Kansas City, but he doesn't think Kansas City's good enough to go back to the Super Bowl. I understand that take. I'll tell you my direction on that is more of a glass half full, and why wouldn't Kansas City go back to the Super Bowl again? And that's where I've been. And at this point, I would say that it's more along the lines of I expect it, because the defense has done more than enough to prove that they've righted their ship. They've gotten everybody healthy. They've figured out a scheme system that's going to work for them to not only keep points off the board, but to make the key turnovers. And, realistically speaking, if we got the amount of turnovers that we've gotten since the defense has quote unquote gotten right, I definitely don't think we lose to Baltimore, which means we're the 3 seed right now. And Titans game is just, an anomaly. We probably beat the Chargers. So in that situation, we're sitting at 10-2. We're the 1 seed. And I think the entire world would be like, oh yeah, the offense could be a little bit better, but I trust Patrick Mahomes to get there. And this team's going to go to the Super Bowl again. So I, at this point, fully expect to see them in the AFC Championship game. And if I had to pick an opponent right now, I would probably say the Patriots.
And
And
after watching the Patriots play that game again on Monday night, and they threw it one time, I'm like, okay, can it be a cold, windy night game? Because I think put Mac Miller versus Mahomes. Mahomes does really good in the cold pairs. We've seen him play really well in the cold. And like apparently Mac Miller, they don't have a whole lot of trust.
Mac Jones, not Mac Miller.
Oh my God, Mac Jones. My bad. What was I thinking of? Mac Jones. Yeah,
Brian, I miss Mac Miller too. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the RIP, dude. RIP. Yeah, Mac Jones, excuse me. And but the quarterback, like in the situation, like I remember watching that game Monday night, and it was just handing it off constantly. And I'm looking at Tanya, I'm like, they're really going to hand it off this entire game. And they absolutely did, and it worked. But I feel like you can't do that against I feel like the Chiefs would take care of that. But that's just me on the Patriots. So if it was Patriots versus Chiefs, after watching their performance on Monday night, I feel like pretty confident the Chiefs could be competitive in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is if there's pick your sides in the Brady Belichick. Let's call Tom Brady the light side of the force and Bill Belichick is the dark side. Let's go Star Wars here. We're watching the Empire Strikes Back right now because Brady went out and won a Super Bowl last year without Belichick, and Belichick just seems like a man on a mission to prove a point that he is way more important to that team than Tom Brady was, and he just seems on a mission to do more with less. And, I'd argue that if Bill Belichick wins a Super Bowl this year with Mac Jones, he's done more with less than Tom Brady winning Super Bowl with the Bucs last year. And that just stout defense and the amount of weapons that he had around him. Not to take away anything that Tom Brady and Bruce Arians and the Bucs organization that put together last year. I mean, they were the champions and they popped the Chiefs in the mouth in the Super Bowl. But it would be more impressive if Belichick pulls off what he's doing right here. And that game against the Bills was him just, proving a point. But to kind of go back to the original question that you had, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, isn't really taking a stand on anything other than he's calling for the end of the Chiefs magic to go. And that to me is no different than everybody at the beginning of the season decides this is the year that Tom Brady is going to fall off physically.
Right. And that's a good point too. It's like, yeah, you're picking one team against the field. I remember one time watching a guy who picked, he picked Tiger Woods to win an entire tournament. This was years ago when Tiger Woods was on his his winning spree or whatever. This is a bad example because he picked one player over the field and Tiger Woods didn't end up winning that tournament. So that guy made a boatload of money. But essentially, yeah, it was like the people were like talking about how you can pick one player over the entire field. And he goes, yeah, it's Tiger Woods. He's always in play. But yeah, perhaps that's the safe play. But there seems like there's not really a breakout team. I mean, maybe the Cardinals you could argue is a breakout team with the way they're playing. But like it seems like everyone else is within 2 or 3 games of being from first to last. So not last, but close to the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at the standings though, as of right now, the Patriots have a game in hand. They've played one extra game in hand. So let's throw them and the Colts kind of out of this situation right now, because that's the 1 and the 8 seed. So the Colts are the first team out. Colts are 7-6. The Patriots are 9-4. I mean, so the difference between 1 and 8 for the two teams that have played 13 games that are on bye this week, it's 2 games between missing the playoffs completely or being the number 1 seed. So that's wild. But then if you look at the 2 through 7, it's the Titans, Ravens, and Chiefs all at 8-4. Then it's the Chargers, Bengals, and Bills all at 7-5. So there's one game that's separating the entire last part of it. And this if the season ended today, if the season was over and we were setting up playoff matches, we would have Titans, Bills, great rematch there. We would have Bengals, Ravens, great rematch there, which is also a division game. And then you would have the Chiefs hosting the Chargers, which is a great rematch in a division game. So that's where we're at. I mean, we need to not rule out the likes of a Bills or of a Colts, and I'll kind of say this with a straight face, Raiders, And Browns. But a team that I've got an eye on from a dark horse standpoint is the Miami Dolphins, because they beat the Giants last week. They've played 13 games. They're 6-7. I think their slow start's going to ultimately get them. But when they come back from the bye, weeks 15 through 17 are hosting the Jets, at the Saints, and at the Titans. Okay. And then they host the Patriots for the last game of the season. So they're doing what they normally do to the Patriots and cause them trouble in week 18 to end the season, and kind of taking care of business in some of those other ways. There's a world where I can see the Dolphins being 10-7. They most likely miss the playoffs with 10-7, but I can certainly see it.
Wow. How about that? I mean, I saw this graphic also laid out the potential, like the exact way that even the Detroit Lions could make it to the playoffs, but 25 games have to go a certain way and they have to win out.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to articulate here is even the Lions have a path to the playoffs. That's how close we all are, close the teams are.
Yeah.
And obviously no one would ever consider them a playoff potential, but that's how there's not really one true breakaway. Like I said, you could argue the Cardinals, but even they are starting to slow down a little bit. But you could argue that they have the most wins so far from what I can tell here. And so I guess is kind of a fun season because there's a lot of even the talent, and the strategy is really kind of laid out evenly. So could be anyone's game, but at this point, the Chiefs, with their defense going the way they're going, and like you said, putting together a kind of Raiders offense, if they can piece those two things together going into the playoffs or in a playoff situation, that'll really raise some alarm bells.
Yeah, absolutely. As of right now, there is one of the 32 teams that's officially eliminated from playoff contention, and that is the Houston Texans. They are 2-10, but they let's see here. I feel like the Jags should be eliminated as well, but looking on ESPN at the standings, it's saying that the Houston Texans are the only team that's eliminated, but those teams are 2-10. But I'll just say this. I have a spreadsheet because that's how I organize stuff like this. That's got the schedule for the rest of the teams in the AFC that I think have a chance enough to make a playoff berth that it's worth actually looking at what they have in front of them. And I have 13 teams on that spreadsheet. So I go all the way down to the Miami Dolphins, who are the 13th team right now. And so the only ones I'm leaving out are the Jets at 3-9, and then the Texans and the Jags at 2-10. And realistically, I could not put that spreadsheet together without having the Dolphins included, just looking at who they play.
So you basically have a whole conference worth of
I have the entire conference. And yeah, I mean, there's not a single playoff berth that's been clinched, which we have 18 games, but normally through 13 weeks you would start to see some potential. But at this point, this is going to come down to the wire. So I mean,
every game matters. I mean, if you're watching every game the Chiefs play, it seems like every game matters. It's not really a runaway situation, is it? It is it seems like even as more games go on, the more important they are. So when you look back, I think I say this in our text group all the time. I'm like, oh, that Ravens game, or even the Chargers game too. Those it's a game of inches, right? But
yeah,
and also takes me back to like you said, the anomaly Tennessee Titans game. I don't know what the hell happened in that game, but it's momentum. But Ryan Tannehill's he's on my fantasy football team. He's been kind of a disappointment this year for fantasy football output. And but they're still part of the conversation. They're winning they're leading the AFC South. I mean, even that game we held them the running game even in check, which was supposed to be the the thing that the storyline. So we'll see what happens with the Titans and everything. But I mean, it seems like they need to fix some things before they must have had their game together whenever they played us, or we were just so slow. We didn't have, if I recall correctly, we didn't score a touchdown and there was no momentum. We couldn't get anything going. So
yeah, we did nothing. I mean, I do know what happened in that Titans game. We got killed. We just got beat down. We didn't really show up as a team. Derrick Henry was held to 86 yards rushing, 1 11-yard run. Didn't score a touchdown.
It's insane.
You know, if you throw that stat out, you know, if you would just tell somebody, hey, Chiefs played the Titans, Derrick Henry had 86 yards rushing. He had 29 carries, so 3 yards a rush.
Whew.
He had 1 run for 11 yards. They had a total of 103 yards rushing, 2.9 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. The first thing that I would say is, okay, who the hell scored a touchdown if Derrick Henry didn't? The answer is Ryan Tannehill. But the next thing that I would say is my second question is, how many points did the Chiefs win by?
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Yeah, that's been like, sounds like we clobbered them. Like, whoa, slow down there.
Mahomes had 206 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR rating of 6.4.
Ooh.
By the way, Chad Henne dropped that decimal point and came in and had a 64 for the 16 passes he threw. And well, there you go, 3 fumbles, losing 2 of them. So that's it. But no, I mean, the Chiefs have gotten beaten soundly by the Bills and the Titans.
Yeah.
They had 2 games that could have gone our way against the Ravens and the
Ravens should have gone. I would say could have. It should have gone our way. It just
exactly.
Edwards hilarious. Things happen.
Exactly. But you know, the counter side to that is if you go back through the rest of the schedule, Packers play Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers plays when the Packers play, there's a good chance that's a loss. Things could have gone wrong against the Giants, and I can't tell you that I felt comfortable in that game towards the end. And you know, the Browns make a couple more plays. That's different. So, you know, it's like you said, it's a game of inches. All things considered, though, I think that we've, you know, won more games that we should have won than, you know, ones that were close and everything. So we're definitely a winning football team, and our defense is playing correctly right now. And if Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes decide to figure out how to score like we have really the past 3 years, then this could be, you know, look out NFL. And then you get over into the NFC side of things, and you know, it's like let's look at the playoff standings for that right now. I feel like they're a little more top heavy than the AFC is.
Getting the Cowboys the way we did, it gives me like a stroke of confidence, right? Obviously, exactly. With the Packers,
exactly.
without Aaron Rodgers was difficult. Defense. I mean, maybe this upcoming game against the Raiders, that's just what we need to like. Can you put down another 45 points on them? Maybe that'd be cool.
Exactly. But no, I mean, 6-6 teams are in the 6th and 7th spot right now. That's the Washington football team and the 49ers. The Vikings and the Eagles, both sitting at 6 and 7, are the teams on the outside looking in. And I don't think you're going to hear anybody with a straight face say that either of those 2 teams are a threat to do anything other than disappoint their fan base.
Kirk Cousins, you listen to him.
Yeah.
You're having a Mahomes level year of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL is less like this. This is more of an NBA thing, but in the NBA, the absolute worst place that you can be as a team is the 8 seed. Because I can think of one time in my lifetime that I've watched an 8 seed win, and that was the Golden State Warriors with the hell was that guy's name? Who was their point guard? But they beat Dirk Nowitzki's Mavericks back in the like early 2000s, where the Mavericks were a 1 seed and the Warriors won as an 8 seed. And then there was the Supersonics that knocked off I don't remember who. So that's how notable these were. And I mean, we're not talking about teams that ended up being like people's champions, like that Villanova 8 seed team that won the NCAA tournament or anything like that. It's just, typically speaking, you're the 8 seed in the NBA. You signed up for a first round public execution by whoever the number 1 seed is, probably run by a LeBron James or Tim Duncan or something like that. And you're going to get embarrassed and not have a chance at a lottery pick, which means you're never going to get better.
Well, it helps. Are those games the 1 versus 8 in the postseason NBA? Are those best of 7 still? Or are they best of 5? Or how's that?
It's best of 5, I believe, is the way the.
So NBA I think this is a good argument that NFL postseason needs to be a best of 5 played 5 games in 1 week. By the 5th game, they're all like dying, destroyed.
No, I mean, what could be done is if you would do certain rounds similar to the way like soccer does, where you play 2 and it's an aggregate of the score. That
Oh,
would
right.
be an equalizer. So if you get hammered in one game, so think about the Super Bowl. If the Super Bowl was an aggregate last year, we would have to go out and beat Tampa Bay by 3 touchdowns in a game to win the Super Bowl, which means it probably wasn't happening. Tampa was a better team and stuff, but it takes away from the hey, the ball bounced this way type of thing.
Right. Yeah. That's what makes it like so tough in the NBA, right? It's like, it's one thing, a terrible team can beat a really good NBA team. It happens when their 2 best players, maybe on the number 1 seed, aren't having a good night, and you guys are professionals, you play lights out, you can beat, that can happen. But when it's a game of best of 5 or best of 7 that equalizes all that, like that's when it really, that's why I think we like March Madness, right? Because it's one game, one and done. That's why you get the Cinderella stories out there, because, oh, they're getting hot and it can happen. And the players can get cold, and that's why it's fun. But I guess that's why professional American football is just just keep it 1 game at a time, and put all your emotion into that 1 game, and go move on from there. So
yeah, I mean, I would say that's why I love March Madness and why I hate it at the same time.
yeah, it's I think out of all the spectacles, it's the one. First off, the whole thing lasts all month. If you're a KU fan, obviously, well, I mean, pick your year, but we're used to them getting making good runs at it, and so like it lasts the whole. If you're having a good run, it lasts the whole the whole damn month, and there's so much emotion into that 1 game, and anything can happen. So
yeah. By the way, the NBA first round is 7 games now.
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so like looking at the 1 versus 8 these last season. So it was Utah Jazz, Memphis Grizzlies in the West, and the Philadelphia 76ers and Washington Wizards in the East. Both of those, the 1 seed won 4-1. And neither one of those were conferences where I think I watched a single game, because what was the point?
Yeah. Why would you?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll see what happens. But I guess back to football though. I guess we'll see what happens with the Raiders. But yeah, I'm looking. I mean, if our defense keeps doing what we've been doing, I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't have a lot of fun going into the postseason. Just gotta get the offense turning back around. I like seeing Edwards-Helaire make good runs throughout the Broncos games. So, and I mean, what's going on with our stars? Like, seems like Hill and Kelsey. Seems like it's just I'm not seeing them as much in these games, or maybe I am. It's just not kind of as pomp and circumstances we're used to seeing. I don't know. It seems like have we gotten figured out, or as just we're trying a different strategy of some kind?
Yeah, I mean, both of them are dropping their fair share of balls. I mean, it's a noticeable thing. Kelsey's still the best tight end in the league. I just don't think that he's blowing the typical tight end stats out of the water as much as you would normally think. But let's look at what his actual stats are, because it's one of those where I think he's doing better. He's not the think of Steve Nash, and Steve Nash was playing basketball. You watch Steve Nash, and there's very few times that you would sit there and just be like, oh my God, that play that he made. I mean, did you see that one thing that he did? But then you look at his stat line at the end of the game, it's just like, oh, good God, that dude had like 20, 30 assists, and everybody was involved, and they all looked like they were having fun. And it's just like, man, that dude's got the keys to the Ferrari, and he might be the only one that can drive this one. Think of like those runs with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, Kelsey's kind of doing a little more of that. So he's 16th in the NFL in receiving. So he's got 848 yards, which Mark Andrews is 811. He's the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. And you don't see another tight end until Kyle Pitts at 27, who has 709 yards. The difference between 709 and 848 is pretty staggering. His average Kelsey's is 12.1 yards per catch. And Kyle Pitts is at 14.5, which means that Kelsey's got more catches, which I would say means, you know, a little bit more of an impact in the game, in keeping the chains moving. Kelsey has 5 touchdown receptions. Pitts has 1. As somebody who has Pitts on a fantasy team, I can assure you that is what's going on, and it's maddening. Mark Andrews has 5. So, you know, you have to say that Andrews and Kelsey are heads and shoulders above what Pitts is doing, just based on that scoring and the situational piece of things. Another one that I'll look at here, total first downs. Kelsey has 48 first downs and Mark Andrews has 45. Kyle Pitts has 32. So
okay, so maybe another way to phrase it is he's having a good season. We all know, and he's a Hall of Famer. We all know.
Exactly.
I guess the last few games, because we watch the Chiefs so closely. It's like where they go? They don't seem like they're doing what they normally do. Is it not getting involved the way we're used to seeing them getting involved? So,
but him and Tyreek Hill, neither one of them have 1,000 yards receiving at this point. We're talking about first world problems, but we're also used to seeing him have
that's bull crap.
1,000 yards through 12 weeks. It's like, oh God, what are you doing here? You should be at 1,200. What are we talking about here? So yeah, I mean, he's having a good season, but you know, it's not just making the mark that if you look at the top of receiving, like Cooper Kupp is 1,366 receiving yards, 11 touchdowns. You know, he was outpacing Randy Moss's best season at one point earlier this year. The Rams all as a whole have kind of cooled off and everything, but yeah, I mean, I think that they can both help themselves out by making more of these catches that they should be making. And you know, if they make the catches where Mahomes hits them in the hands where they're moving in the direction of the football, and they pick up a couple of you know, slight misthrows by Mahomes, but still catchable, then you're talking like elite number realm. So
yeah, that's if you just clean that up a little bit, I guess. But I think you said it best. It's a first world problem. Like still the output we're doing is just fine. So I guess it gives us hope, and that's why people, when we watch the Chiefs as closely as we do, and we follow these games, like when you're, you know, when you're like 2-4 or 2-5, like we're like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm not worried about it. We know how competitive we are. We know the weapons we have. They're right there. They're doing good. It's just, defense has to be turned around. That's why when you watch this closely and follow this closely, it's like, and I guess I know Josh, you've been in that for years, but I'm a little kind of new to the party here, so it's a lot more fun to, I guess, get more involved in watching the seasons like this. But
well, what I think would be interesting is if you go back to the 90s Marty Schottenheimer era teams, we never had anything remotely close to great quarterback play. We had spurts of solid. We had some where it was clearly a weak spot. We had some where it was incompetent.
That season we had Dwayne Heward whenever Trent Green got hurt, and he went on to be like the best quarterback as a backup. And it was like, so this is what it's like to have an awesome quarterback every game. This is awesome.
Yeah. But so it's just one of those, like, I think about if our defense was doing what it is now back in that period of time, when we had a lot of seasons like that, we'd be talking Super Bowl and just saying like, oh man, we just need Mahomes to make 6 plays a game, blah, blah, blah. But here, these past 3 years, we've been like, I don't really care what the defense does. Sutton, don't ruin this for everybody. You know, let's just make sure that we get enough pressure to win a game or whatever. But we're going to go on the arms of Patrick Mahomes, and it's like we're not prepared for what that 90s football looked like again. But the good news is we still have Patrick Mahomes, and he proved against the Raiders that he can go out and throw up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. And, you know, he might do that again this Sunday.
Let's see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. And it's at Arrowhead. So
yeah, and
the weather should be nice. I think I could be wrong. I think it's supposed to be nice though.
All right. So, any fantasy players you were looking at this last week?
Oh, you know me, my normal Kirk Cousins. Who was I looking at? I'm looking at my, let me pull up my stuff here. Back in the Monday night game, tip of the hat to the strategy from the Patriots, because My opponent only needed to make 1 point, or like I needed to score 6 points. And the one player they had on the Patriots was Jay Myers, and the wide receiver for New England. And I gotta say, them only throwing it one time, the Patriots, and handing it off the rest of the game. You should have seen me. I was really excited with the strategy as a guy who was playing against the opponent who needed that player to score at least one touchdown or make a complete catch of some kind. So Myers, I guess that's my player. I'm sure I felt kind of bad because you have all these athletes out there like tight ends and receivers for the Patriots. And they're like, "Can you just throw us the ball one time?" And Belichick's like, "No, you're just gonna block and you're gonna like it."
Yeah. So Mac Jones scored less than 1 point. Think about if you were in a position where you were needing like 5 or 6 points and you had Mac Jones and he had 0.46. 2 for 3, 19 yards. So I'm gonna go a different direction, and cheers to everybody who was able to get Alexander Mattison on their bench and into their lineup when he was able to spell Dalvin Cook this week as we push towards the playoffs. I certainly appreciated getting that RB1 off the bench out of Alexander Mattison, and he's one of 2 really interesting running backs that I think we have in the league right now. He backs up Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, and Tony Pollard backs up Zeke Elliott in Dallas. And in the Dallas situation, I don't even know that you can call Tony Pollard a backup anymore. He plays. So as we get into the further depths of contract situations in both of those places, you have very, very competent backups that are probably massive discounts over what the league guys would do, but the production is not as stark of a drop off. So those are 2 things to keep in mind.
Hey Josh, let me share the screen. So I have a meme you made me think of just now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me give you permission here. All right, go for it.
All right. So Mac Jones, the meme is Mac Jones helping the Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills. And right here.
All right, put yourself in a position to
not
not die, and they open the door.
Look at this.
I like it.
There we go.
I like it. Yeah, that's right.
Basically,
no,
yeah.
that's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. And Bill Belichick is the one driving the train. He's going like, "What are you doing?" It's like,
imagine if
I told you stand on that platform. We'll be back.
Here's a game we're gonna play. It's called Don't Fumble the Snap. All you gotta do is don't fumble the snap and hand it. This dude, he's gonna run the ball that way. And you just give it to him. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Let's say like the whole game is just like handing the ball off, but Mac Jones has like 3 fumbles because of snaps. Like, God dang it. Do we have to like put a position player in to play quarterback for this? But that was quite a game. I've never seen that before. I probably won't see it again. I'm guessing it's also had something to do with how cold and windy it was. But I guess that's what it is. And so that was my fantasy sports right there. So
got it. Do you have a song for the week?
Oh, song. Oh gosh. Is there a song called Keep It Going? Is that a song name? Keep it up. So let's go.
we need to come up with songs. Like, remember the skit where Will Ferrell was playing the devil and he was trying to help Garth Brooks write a song? Yeah. The song is like, keep it going Sunday evening. That's a big win for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think we just wrote a song. It's called Keep It Going. There you go. But yeah, that it's just momentum, right? I mean, we keep on getting these W's. I know we use the word ugly, and I think most of the kind of press also would say they're ugly. They're not used to what we're saying here, but defense is looking pretty. So let's keep it going.
Yeah. So I'll do my devil writing a song for Milo. Taste a look at this tasty look. It's like, hey Spags, you're a nice guy. Like what Sorensen did. That was a good pick.
Wow, that's not That's
Isn't that a
that's
Smash Mouth
All-Star.
song?
Yeah, and that's not even good. That's not even
Dang,
close to,
God, this is
that's not
so
even
hard.
close
Well,
rhythmically.
I guess do you need anything or should I just go?
There's, I'm leaving. I'm living. Oh, something. Is that good? No, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll just keep
Oh,
going.
that
then.
was good. All right. So yeah, final take. And I think based on our notes, we both
Let's
had
bundle
the
it.
same
Bundle it.
thing.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk. That's right. Mizzou KU back in business. It's been about a decade, hasn't it? And here we are. I still don't quite care for them. I got to tell you.
No. And that's one of the things that I always think is crazy is that especially being in Big Ten country, living here, you'll always hear about like, oh, the best rivalry in entire sports landscape is going to be the Michigan football and Ohio State football. Okay, cool. Tell me about the time that Ann Arbor or Columbus got burned to the ground. Tell me about a time where there was bleeding Michigan or Ohio. Tell me about a time where there was a major civil war going on around either. Oh, you guys were just playing football. You guys were just playing football.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a little bit deeper than that. Yeah, it cuts a little deeper. I did like yeah, it's fun to see going on Twitter and seeing all the the trash talk again like I used to back in the day when we were in college.
Yeah.
KU is alive. I know the students are excited. It's an atmosphere for sure. And I got to tell you, sometimes I know you're mentioning like, yeah, it's there's a historical factor here. It can get out of hand pretty fast. Behavior, obviously, but it's also fun as long as it's good natured and everyone gets along. But it's still competitive. I still don't quite care for the situation, but I still want to see wins. So let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a lot cooler if this was games being played twice a season, home and aways in the Big 12 conference. I miss the days of the Big 12 conference that included Missouri and Nebraska, and there was stability with Texas and Oklahoma, but these things are all changing. I mean, this new Big 12 is going to be a great basketball conference, I think. Just looking at some of the teams that they're bringing in. And, I think both of us are more college basketball than football fans. And this is probably a direct result of how good KU's been at college football. But
hey, ride or
as a
die.
whole,
We are ride or die. But it's the kind of that's the situation. I mean, how we've been fans of KU and we're fans of KU football. But we could say that now, but we're only one or two magical seasons away from us being even more like we're ride or die no matter what. We're fans no matter what. But the enthusiasm and momentum shifts a little bit whenever you have a couple good seasons going that somebody get excited about. Which is got to tell you, after the last season, the way KU played, it's fun to see some signs of life. So.
Yeah, it looks like they might be building something, and it's interesting. You go through Charlie Weiss, you go through Les Miles, you get the big hires and stuff, and then it's that under the radar regime that comes in and kind of turns things around. And so hopefully that's where we are. But going back to basketball a little bit, I'm really looking forward to having some of these rivalries with BYU and Cincinnati and Houston. I mean, those are some basketball programs that have made some noise, both consistently and recently. And this new Big 12 basketball situation could end up being, pretty fun, but definitely.
Baylor. Let's not forget about Baylor.
Yeah. And then, and Baylor's still there, but, I'm just kind of looking at the, not only did we lose the Missouri rivalry, but I've always felt like there was a good basketball rivalry with Texas.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be unfortunate that doesn't happen anymore. But at the same time, like nobody's going to miss Texas the way we've missed Mizzou.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
So,
yeah. All right. Well, that game's coming on in 45 minutes, so I gotta get set up.
Yep. All right. Well, see you next week, Chiefs Kingdom.
Go Chiefs.